We're going to work on a burn-in. First I want to show you a few techniques with the burn-in knife that I think are very important. One, we always want to have our hand on top of the burn-in knife. And what that it does, it allows us to approach the repair at the proper angle, which is about 15 to 30 degrees. And the reason that we do it at the 15 to 30 degrees is to trap the heat from the knife down on the burn-in material. And we should always hear just kind of a cush sound as we come across the panel. We don't want to hear clicking. If we hear clicking, then we're going to end up with some tool marks in our surface that we're trying to repair. So first, let's go ahead and make a defect to repair. We'll just take an area here and create a defect. Now you'll notice there's some splinters that are sticking up, and we want to make sure that the area is perfectly level so that when we come back and apply our material, we're able to level that perfectly flat and that we don't have any ridges or humps in the repair. So we want to make sure that that's nice and level. Whether you want to call it repairing the repair or what you'd like to call it, we just need to make sure that it's prepared properly so that we can have success with the burn-in. Any loose pieces, any splinters sticking up need to be removed. Be sure and take your razor knife and trim those off and get those cleaned out. Now we have a couple of different types of burn-in sticks that we will use. We have a gloss and a flat, and for this particular repair we're going to use the flat stick. What I like to do is try to get a color that is as close to that background color, that lightest color I see in the panel, to get our basic fill in with it. This will make the final repair look the best. I like to use the back of a piece of sandpaper, and I'll take and melt a little bit of the material onto the knife. And this knife has a slight angle to it. There's actually a toe and a heel to the blade. I like to have that heel towards the center of my torso when I'm working. If I was left-handed, I'd have it over here. Right-handed, I'm going to have it over this way. So we're going to melt a little of that material onto the back of the sandpaper. We can also add in a little bit of gloss stick too. The two are compatible. You're just going to give up one property to the other, so it won't be quite as flat or quite as glossy, depending on which stick you put the most in with. So we put the material on the back. The other thing that I like to point out is you'll notice the blade is smoking a little bit from the material. We always want to have a rag handy and continually clean the knife. If debris builds up on the knife and cooks, whenever we do try to level that repair, we'll actually get some streaks or grooves through it if there's excess material built up on the knife. So now we can take our sandpaper, turn it up on edge, and actually lift that material off, and we want to drip it into the defect. And I can use the toe of the knife, the point of the knife, to drag the material around to make sure that the area is filled completely. Again, I'm going to wipe that knife blade off so we can keep it nice and clean. Now, this is the little stand for the burn-in knife, and this is the way it should be placed in the stand. We don't want to lay it in like this because then the stand would heat up. All the metal parts on this knife do get hot, so we'll set that there, let our burn-in area cool just a moment. The next thing we're going to apply is the burn-in lubricant. And we want to apply this liberally around the repair. This product does a couple of things for us. It will protect the surrounding finish from the heat of the knife so that we don't scorch the surface. And it'll also keep the excess material from sticking outside of the defect. You'll notice I have a rag handy, and what I'm going to do is come in and with very light pressure, 15 to 30 degrees, it begins to heat that material. You notice I've already picked some up and put it on the rag. And we'll come in and level that repair. Very quick, very easy. Let that cool just a second. I can run my finger across it, check for level, and it appears to be nice and level. I did notice there's one little air bubble right here, and what I'm going to do is take my point of my knife and heat that back up. Pick up a little extra material here, and we'll drop that right into where that air bubble was. Allow that to cool a second. Reapply the burn-in lube. And now we can come back and level that again. Again, like an airplane coming in for a touch and go landing, we just lay it on the surface, light pressure, and we're done. Let that cool a second, check it for level. I can feel just a touch of difference there. So I'm going to take a small piece of the 600 grit sandpaper. I'm going to leave the lube on there as a lubricant for the sandpaper, and I'm just going to give it a couple of light passes. This gives me a very smooth finish for the repair. And then take my rag and remove the excess material. Now, this type of repair is much more durable than a wax or a fill stick repair, which oftentimes can become temporary. A fill stick will only be as hard as it is right now, where the burn-in stick, we're able to heat the material and soften it to apply it, and then it goes back to its hard state, which gives us a very nice repair. Now in a later segment, we'll come back and add some graining and some color to finish the repair.